Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another episode of the Strafing Run, and today in the background we've got some Battlefield 4 Commander Mode via PC, and unfortunately this is the only mode that doesn't make me want to pull my hair out. The game has yet to receive a good official patch. Everything has so far been on the back end to repair server performance and connectivity. I'm afraid that we probably won't see anything sizable until the DLC comes out. I think it's actually this month, it being December 1st as of this recording. So we might have to wait until then. That is just flat out sad if that's the case, because who knows, the new maps might break things even further. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I really want to like this game, but at this point, I'm feeling like the next iteration of Battlefield, I might not pre-order. I might not even buy until I'm certain that there's content there that's worth my money. And at the end of the day, you know, the consumer is to blame because we're giving EA and DICE and all these other horrible corporate publishers and whatnot, we're giving them the money to do this, to continue to make the same games over and over again. Those of you that want to, yell at me for calling this Battlefield 3.5, yell right ahead. I mean, that's fine. I don't care. It is what it is. It's my opinion. That's what I think it is. There are some good things here. Commander mode, I think, is great. I actually have been playing Commander mode a lot on my iPad, which is the most brilliant thing ever. I really feel like I'm holding on to a science fiction movie device where I'm a commander or squad leader and I'm able to drag and drop things on the screen. It's fantastic, and that's the future of gaming there. To be able to interact with a mobile device or tablet with the game. See, things like that, awesome. But the other stuff, you're shrinking down the maps, you're taking away features. No, that's going backwards. So it's just funny to see where they'll add something new and then they'll take away somewhere else, and then they'll continue to work on crappy single-player campaigns, which are just a waste of money. So anyway, looking forward to the December DLC, which I think is this month, but we need some bigger maps, and that's really the only thing that's going to save this on top of the fixes that we're dying to see. But I don't want to rant too much about Battlefield. I think I did enough about that the last time. I'm going to move on to a video that I made recently called The Bad Russian for World of Tanks. And this was a video where I created a Eastern European or Russian accent of sorts and played World of Tanks for about 14 minutes. So I played live, held the accent the whole video. Thousands of you thought that it was laugh out loud hilarious. Some of you were just annoyed by it, and others were offended by it, actually. Some of you were offended by the fact that I faked an accent. And whether that accent was good or bad, I think that it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it. And you shouldn't be offended by anybody faking an accent, because it happens all the time in movies, television shows. There's good ones, there's bad ones. It doesn't matter. People do it for fun. Some people are interested in culture, dialects, accents in general. I'm fascinated by accents for some reason. I love them. I think it's really neat to hear people talk from different countries. I don't know. I've always been inherently interested in it. So, in my spare time, sometimes you'll even hear it come out in videos where I'll fake an accent or a voice. I like doing voiceover stuff. I like creating different characters. And, I had created SideStrafe, and that was part of the joke where he played in Russian tanks. And no offense or disrespect was intended at all. It was just for fun. Hey, I've been working on this Eastern European or Russian accent. And, oh wait, I have this game called World of Tanks that has Russian tanks in it. Let's put them together and see what happens. Trying to lighten things up a bit. So, if you're offended by an accent, I'm not going to apologize for that, because that's just silly. You need to really walk outside your house once in a while and take a look at the bigger picture, because there are things out there that you should probably be offended by. Accents, not one of them. But the reason the video no longer exists on the channel is because there were some references I made in regards to the Chernobyl incident, and those I felt may have crossed a thin line. So for that, I will apologize, but not the accent. The thing is, when I create characters, sometimes I'll have key words that help me get into that character or that accent. And Chernobyl is one of those names that does. And so I would use it. And then when you're using it while you're playing, you're focused on playing the game and being this character. You're conjuring up all this imagery. Stalker, Shadows of Chernobyl. What was that game about? Well, you know, what were you fighting in that game? Comics, TV shows, stories. You know, you conjure up all these images of things that are related to the Chernobyl incident. And, well, of course, then you say things. And while I don't necessarily think anything I said was too far out there, it did offend some of you, and I can understand it. I do have a set of standards that I like to live by. So you do have my apologies in regards to that. Although, however, I think that anybody that was actually offended has probably unsubscribed by now and probably isn't listening to this. So, in any case, for those of you that did enjoy the video and are a fan of that type of, you know, humor and got the joke and aren't as sensitive, you know, I thank you for your support, and I'm glad that you liked it. I've had a lot of people requesting that I bring it back because they want to watch it over and over again. They're like, I want to watch The Bad Russian again. It was hilarious. Where did it go? And it makes me feel terrible because I don't think I've ever really removed a video unless I've had to re-upload something to fix. And, you know, I actually loved the vid. I thought it was funny. You know, I'm a fan of watching TV shows like Family Guy. And let's face it, that show insults pretty much the entire planet. And, you know, I can deal with it. Even if people make fun of me, you know, my parents are from Greece. I was born in Canada, and I live in the United States. I've become an American citizen as well. So, you know, you could make fun of my background every day of the week, and I just don't care because it's petty, really. So it wasn't that I was trying to make fun of anybody or disrespect anyone. It's just the lines that came out at the time. So there's a difference between somebody intentionally insulting somebody, which I was not doing. So there's that statement. You can believe it or not. I know the truth, and so that's that. Hopefully in the future that, you know, if I do any types of accents or characters, that you'll be more receptive to them and understand where I'm coming from. And I guess I'll just put more warnings on them, you know, so that you know. Because at that point, it's up to you to believe the individual. So again, I apologize for the Chernobyl references. You know, they were crossing a thin line there. But accents, you might see Soviet Strafe again. We've got Scots Strafe as well, and there could be a few others that I'm working on just because I like them. So, with that said, it's it's the weekend, and Black Friday has come and gone, and we've got Cyber Monday coming up. Hope everybody in the States had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Make sure to get out there and get some exercise. You're like, exercise? What's that? And it's like, yeah, I've even been working on that a little bit myself. But still impossible to get PlayStation 4s in the States. You know, I am eyeing one. I'm trying to get one. I kind of regret not putting one in my Amazon basket when I had the chance. But really, again, there's only one game that I would probably be interested in, and that's Killzone. Even though most people are telling me it's kind of mediocre, I'd still want to play it. Yeah, apparently they're trickling into stores here and there, but really, the issue is a lot of retailers are getting them. And for example, Best Buy, Walmart, they were holding them for Black Friday. They had them to sell, but they know that the systems are worth more on Black Friday and bundled up with things that you probably don't even really want. They know that they can get more of your money because you're desperate, you're in the store, it's in your hands, and you're not going to let go of it because you know that they might not exist until after Christmas. So that's the sad world we live in. On top of that, you have scumbags going out and buying multiple units, pre-ordering units, and reselling them on eBay for insane prices. The only thing I can say, ladies and gents, don't give in to these people and don't give in to these retailers. Don't buy these overpriced garbage bundles. Newegg.com, for example. I usually love Newegg, but they are selling the dumbest bundles I've ever seen. Extra headsets and things like that you probably don't even want or need. $700, $1,000 plus for some of these stupid bundles. They will not let you buy just the system for $399. You have to buy a bundle. Absurd. And then you get the people that, of course, put them on eBay. There's some sellers that have like 25 units. Oh, I only want $600 for it, 700, whatever. Don't do it. Be patient, wait. There are no titles currently out on these next-gen systems that are worth it, especially if you're a PC gamer that can run these games no problem. Definitely don't do it, because you can get Need for Speed, you can get Battlefield, you can get Call of Duty, all on PC, and you can probably, well, except for games that are frame locked to Need for Speed, which apparently there's a workaround now. But anyway, just they're even with that said, even if these games were flawless, they're just not that great. And the only game I even really want is Killzone, and like I said, mediocre at best. So I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go wait in line 6 a.m. in front of a Best Buy so I can play Killzone. You know, I mean, just wait. Even if it's after the holidays, you're going to get one. Don't pay some idiot an absurd amount of money, because it's just going to do the same thing the next time, and it'll just never stop. But moving on from that, I want to discuss the new Super Mario Brothers game, actually. Again, I do not own a Nintendo Wii U. My friend Warheart does. And his name is actually Warheart. That's on his birth certificate. No, I'm just kidding. He always buys all the new Nintendo games. He loves the first-party characters. And so do I, but I'm not really ready to fork over the cash for a system only to eventually own 3 or 4 games. The only one that really tends to get my attention is Mario Kart, and especially the new one, which is supposed to be 1080p 60 frames. Because, you know, I saw the Zelda port, and even looking at the new Super Mario, they look really good. The Mario one only runs at 720p, but it does maintain 60 frames per second. But anyway, I felt like a kid again, you know, sitting on the floor there with the controller and just had a blast. We were laughing, you know, playing cooperatively, 2 players. It was just out of control, and we kept saying, oh man, imagine this with 2 other people, because, you know, with a total of 4 characters moving around that have different abilities in regards to how they jump or how fast they move, it could be actually very challenging, because you're dealing with a platformer game where the screen is moving along as you go in some cases, and there's all kinds of crazy jumps that you have to do in the boss fights. To play a game that's just actually challenging again, you know, like old school games that we grew up with. We're talking about all these next-gen titles, Battlefield, Call of Duty, whatever, that are just failing. And here's good old Nintendo making the games that we can rely on with the first-party characters, you know. And you might think, oh, well, they're making the same thing over and over again. You know, you'd be wrong. You haven't been playing these games then, because, yeah, do they bring over the things that made these games popular? That's how you do it. Of course they are. Of course they're going to continue to bring, okay, was this feature popular in Mario? Yes, so we'll keep it. We don't get rid of it. You don't get rid of what made the game popular in the first place. You expand upon it. That's why a lot of the new Sonic games were terrible, because they got rid of what made Sonic Sonic. That was the problem with a lot of those games. It wasn't until later titles where Sega started to get it right. But, you know, with the Super Mario and the Zelda games, they know how to expand and evolve the genre. They need to have a talk with DICE, because they've failed miserably at keeping the great elements of a Battlefield title and just expanding, you know. It's just so simple that I can't believe grown adults with college degrees in game design are mucking it up on a regular basis. Go play a freaking Nintendo game and learn how to make games again. That's my message to developers and publishers alike. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen. I had so much fun playing that Super Mario game that I was angry at other developers for making crap. I mean, I almost want to just give Nintendo some money right now, because they've maintained that old school Japanese tradition of creating quality right off the bat. Doesn't need any patches. It works. Unbelievable. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Strafing Run. I will definitely see you on the next one.